Morning. I don't know what day it is of the Life Engineering 30-day daily videos, but where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Check yourself. Check yourself. So leadership, you may be failing because you're not coming from the right pace, and that could be affecting communication and overall your leadership values. Now, what do I mean by where you're coming from? So I'm up in Canary Wharf, and it's a well-engineered site. The buildings are spot on, they're accurate, because when we're designing in engineering, we check where we're coming from, we calibrate, we get certificates, we get qualifications, we get sign-off documentation, we get clarity, we get drawings, and we check from grid lines and from datums to make sure that we're 100%. The Canary Wharf is up behind me, and those floors, even the lighting, you can see that the lighting calibration, the spec of the lights are the same. Everything's checked. We check ourselves, but in leadership, we don't check ourselves in leadership. We don't have a way to, really, other than checking our pulse. What have you got to calibrate where you're coming from? And what I mean by that, I'll give you examples. So Wednesdays I'd fast for 36 hours, and last night was a Wednesday night, and I was in the kitchen. I had open fire going, had my laptop out on the sofa, and my daughter came in, and she was bored, so she got the dog and started to pretend to play the piano on top of my laptop screen, so I couldn't work. And then she started talking about what she might have for dinner, maybe Chinese and fajitas. She wasn't being genuine, she wasn't being sincere, she was being a wind-up. She was trying to wind me up, and because I knew that I'd fasted and probably wasn't in a great space, I sort of took myself upstairs. But this, where you're coming from, when you can communicate or you can't communicate. Sometimes, like me last night, I couldn't communicate. I had to just take myself away because she was annoying me. But she was also doing it on purpose. She was coming from a playful, windy-uppy way. And I know why she does that, because she's my daughter and I'm an annoying twat like that as well. So I get it. But when you're managing teams, when you're elevating yourself up like that building, like, you have to get good at getting back to a point of truth in where you're coming from. You have to get back and not be affected like some little victim on what people have done and you know, the things that they've done. It's like these buildings and the weather. You know, they can't get, there's movement in that building. I've spent time at the top of it and got seasick because I don't travel well, but there's movement. I can feel it in that building. There's an allowance of movement in these buildings within a certain tolerance, and it's the same with leadership. The higher you go, the more depth you need at managing yourself and emotional awareness. And I think the video I just want to talk about, because this affects leadership, poor leadership. I don't know what the error code is for it, but a lot of the time when that comes up, you end up looking into things like poor communication, and then you look into, you know, a deeper level of why that is. And a lot of the time that's because people are coming from a place where they're not being true. They're maybe sulking, maybe they're just too angry to deal with them in that moment, like I was last night with my daughter. And this ability to check ourselves, I do a workshop called the Mindset Reset, and it's all about getting back to. But I say in the workshop, you're never going to not lose your shit. Like, these buildings are never going to not have movement, but you want to make sure that you don't go off too far too quick, and if you do, you get back really quick. And that's what a well-engineered building does. That's also what a well-engineered leader does. So just have a think, where you're coming from today. What's your state of mind? I'm just about to go and break fast, so I'm pretty good. Looking forward to getting into Starbucks and getting myself a coffee. Take care.